lot of you, but over the last 3.5 years of the 4.5 years that I've been governor, we've actually taken $1 billion out of a $3 billion budget. My first budget in '07, which as you'll recall was a pretty good year. In fact, we ended up with about $235 million in surplus, and instead of spending it on ongoing expenditures, we put it away in rainy day accounts, public school stabilization accounts, so that we had those to draw on as '08, '09, and '10 came at us. And as a result of that, our fiscal house is probably the envy of many states. In fact, with the exception of a couple that I can think of, which are energy-producing states, the Dakotas, for instance, Wyoming, our neighbor to the immediate east. In most of those cases, because they've got that natural resource base of coal and oil and gas, they've been able to draw on those ever-increasing opportunities that the marketplace has offered them. Well, we didn't have that opportunity in Idaho, and in '07, my first budget was about $3.2 billion for an annual budget. And my budget last year was just a little over $2.2 billion. And we accomplished that because of your support and your hard work, because we had a legislature that also understood that Idaho had to live within its means. Idaho had to continue to create an investment and a business climate in the state that would bring us out of the economic downturn. And I suspect the positive signs that I hope most of you are starting to see in your businesses after the downsizing that you've done, after the combination of putting agencies together that like we had to do at the state level, that we're starting to see some very positive signs. And they're hopeful signs. And I would tell you that I think we would be in much better shape if we had those same kind of signs coming out of Washington, D.C. You know, I was asked the other day on a national news program that how is it that Idaho cut $1 billion out of a $3 billion budget during these tough times without raising taxes in order to balance our budget, and still had a very positive outlook. And I said simply that it was fiscal discipline, that I had a legislature to work with, and that I had a community of interest in Idaho citizens that understood that the government should be no different than every family, every business, every small business, every opportunity, that we simply had to live within our means. And the result of that, I believe today, Idaho is set to come out of the downturns that we've had over the last 3.5 years, and probably do as much as any other state in the union to lead the nation on into economic recovery. So you can find sustainability in Idaho, and I can tell you, once again, that's what businesses look for. And it's the businesses that create the jobs. All the government can do is maintain an environment that says this is a good place to do business, because you can predict what your cost of doing business is going to be, because we're not going to, at every whim, turn around and raise taxes. We've maintained that our fiscal house in order, and our regulatory efforts have been subdued somewhat, and to make sure that we maintain that environment. And I would tell you that you can expect that the next 3.5 years, and 4 years after that, should a decision. Conservative, we're still going to work at institutionalizing a lot of the changes that we made during this economic downturn. I've got the directors convinced, you know, about 87% of my directors come out of the private sector. 87% of those folks sat at the same table that you're sitting at today and conversed with the same people that you're conversing with around those tables. So they understand the business climate, they understand budgetary restraint, and they understand fiscal responsibility. But at the director level, and maybe even the subdirector levels that we've got today, we still have a lot of things, of the changes that we've made in the last 3.5 years, that we need to now institutionalize throughout those agencies, so that everybody up and down, the field people, the people working in the office, everybody up and down the employee levels in the state of Idaho understand that this is a new way of doing business in Idaho government. That we're not going to grow back at the same rate as the economy grows. We're simply not going to grow government back at that same rate. We're going to I say again, institutionalize some of those things that we've established during this economic unfortunate